So just want to do a quick product recommendation. No affiliation at all, but this Hybrid Solutions ceramic polish and wax says it's all-in-one formula. It's not going to replace actually polishing a car, but basically wash and dry the car, and then it only wants you to use about 2 ounces per vehicle, which I'm a little bit more than that, I think. I'm using just a hand applicator pad. You can use a machine applicator as well, but I don't have one, and these pads are cheap. And so the paint on this thing was a little chalky, and you can't really see it in the video. I don't know if you can tell. Let's take a look. You can see there's some kind of just scuffs on the paint. They're still there. Various things like that. I don't know if you can tell a difference. Maybe from here you can tell a little bit the difference in the shine here versus here. You can see a little bit of staining and stuff. So speaking of staining, you can see some of the stains down below here. Right there. Had those up to the bottom part of the door. There's still a little bit on the bottom of the door there. I could scrub a little harder. And the door handles had these like scratches. This is the back one. The front ones get used more. And just with that applicator pad, I just went in there and cleaned them. That's just a little residue. So it's really done a pretty good job. If I feel the car, I can feel some spots where maybe there's a little bit of chalkiness left. I didn't do as good of a job. Like right there a little bit. But once we get it into the light, we'll see what I might have missed. But overall, this is working really well. And basically you just put 3 dabs, about the size of a dime on here. It says for about a 2 foot by 2 foot section. Plus or minus, I think it might depend on how chalky the vehicle is. This one's a little chalkier. I don't think it was really meant for this, but hey Mochi. Yeah, so overall really happy with it. I think it was like 11 bucks or something at my local AutoZone. And I'll show you the just so you can see. Let's just go ahead and do this door thing here. So basically I have a little left over on that applicator. I just smeared in there. Can't really get a circular motion in that one, especially one-handed. What I've been doing is keeping the vehicle locked. I'll pull out the handle and I can get to it. So let's see if I can just get a little better with this thing. Holding the camera. There, see? All gone. All those nail marks are gone. There's a little thing in the bottom, some sap or something. So, wipe it with the applicator. And just like waxing, really, circular motion. And then dry microfiber. Clean off any of the excess. I can use my hand to feel if it's chalky. This part wasn't as chalky as like this door. I don't know if you can hear that. See how much more chalky paint will make that sound. And then wet microfiber, damp, not wet. Just kind of go in here, and apparently it's supposed to seal the polymers or something like that. I don't know. I'm following the instructions, and it seems to be working pretty well. I've had stuff like this, which a little bit of staining in the paint from bird droppings and other things like that, and it's just taking it completely out. So yeah, really happy with it. So you see this mirror? See how it's all like just, I don't know if it's water spotting or what. Rubbing it doesn't doesn't really take out those spots. I actually just used that same product on this mirror over here, and while it's not perfect, you can see I could have probably done a little bit better job. Didn't want to put too much pressure on it. It was taking some of that black out, because this is, you know, plastic's a little softer than the paint as far as the coloring goes, but did a pretty good job on that, so I'm pretty happy there. And so I'm going to show you basically how I'm using it. You can see, let's do the shadow here. Got some sun. So see this little mark isn't there? There's just like things like that. Some of these are chips. That's on the surface. I can feel it throughout here. Normally maybe have to clay bar that kind of stuff out to do a really good job, but so we're going to do the poor man's job, which is take the applicator. It says 3 dime-sized drops, roughly like that. Hard to aim and hold the camera. Oops, we got a little drip. Turn off that drip. Okay, so my applicator's pretty dirty. It's time for a new one, but I'm almost done with the car, so I'm just gonna keep going. So I just kind of first rub it in a little bit over the area, about 2 feet, whatever that is. It's hard to tell on the camera there, but there's some, it's just oxidizing up there, probably because I already covered it, but so let's work on that. So let's see if it comes out. There you go. It's like a magic eraser for cars, basically. And now this being a white car, it's hard to see some of this other stuff like swirls that might happen afterwards. So I'm gonna have to come back and do it again, but some touch-up spots. So I like to go, I'm just like a nobody at doing this kind of stuff, but I like to follow the lines like that so I know where I've been. So like the fender line up here. Anyway, that's it. Highly recommend it so far. Okay, so here, this video, you can kind of see that's just imperfections in the paint, water spotting. Can you hear that? That's a chalkiness compared to a panel that I did. Like, there's no real chalky sound to it. So let's take a look at this after I do it. All right, so you're supposed to wipe it with a wet cloth, damp cloth, but I haven't yet. So I just did the applicator and used the dry cloth. And can you see? Basically all those spots are just gone. And it's smooth. You hear it squeak instead of that chalky sound. And there's a little piece left there. So some of these require just a little bit more pressure. So I just kind of go back through it again, buff it, take off the extra with the drier cloth here, and then the wet cloth supposedly seals it. We'll see. But it definitely looks a lot better and it feels a lot better. So, got another use for this ceramic polish and wax. I didn't even use a clean applicator. You can see that's the corner I used for the headlight. Look at that headlight compared to that one. That's how it used to be. It's still yellowy, but it's much more clear. You can see the two different colors there, or the clarity. And I didn't scrub very hard. I didn't want to get too far into the coating on this. I've been meaning to kind of polish them and UV protect them anyway. So anytime you do clean them, with something, you want to put a UV protectant so they don't yellow and keep yellowing further into the plastic. As I understand, I'm not an expert, but I was like, what happens if I use this on there? And that's what it did. So let's see if I can show you here real quick, like how easy this was. So I've still got just a little bit here. So let's just do a section here in the middle. And I'm not giving it much pressure at all. Okay, and then I'll just buff it a little bit with the rag. You see that? Like that was what, 15 seconds maybe? So super easy way to clean the light off, or the haze off the light, at least temporarily. And there's that light. That's maybe 1 minute later. Not too bad. Looks a little yellow still, but way more clear anyway. This one is, I probably scrubbed a little harder. It's a little less yellow, so I might come back to this side again.